Everybody, this is Lance from ThetaTraders.com. This video we're going to go over the technical analysis for September 8 through 12, 2025. Also look at any economic news and earnings reports. All members of ThetaTraders.com receive this video before the market opens on Monday, and you might be seeing this a little bit later. So if you're interested in the early analysis, you want to join any plan at ThetaTraders.com. So let's look at the technical analysis first. All right, so let's look at SPY. If you look at the daily chart on SPY, we are near all-time highs again, up to the 652.21. And you can see there's a decent amount of volume at 644. We did have a decent up move in the last few days, and then we had a down move on the Friday. So there's a chance that we might end up getting to that 647-ish area possibly. And RSI is looking relatively flat to neutral, slightly downward, but nothing to really get too scared about. MACD is coiling slightly in the negative. So this is showing that there's not too much to worry about right now in SPY. QQQ is going to be very similar. And near all-time highs again. Had a slight down day on the Friday. Has some volume at the 565. And then a major volume of 532, 517. So if we hold this level, if we get down to the 564, then there's not much volume in between that to around the 530. SPY was very similar numbers there. So as long as this holds as a possible support level at the 563 for QQQ, I think we should be in decent shape. IWM had pretty large up moves in the last week and a half or so. You can see this big up candle on the 22nd, and we're still heading bullish here. MACD is looking bullish, RSI is bullish, so the small caps are looking good with possible interest rate lowerings. 220 is a possible support. We do have a little support at the 235, but we are above that at the 237 now. And volatility had a decent up move in the middle of the week, but then it just dropped back down again. If you look from the 29th, we're at 15. We actually had a high of over 19, but it was very short-lived. It actually dropped down, and you can see that we've just been decreasing in our volatility. Had a decent spike Friday, but now we have a doji candle in the volatility, and we're closing at the 15 level. So with this doji candle, it might show that we could see a possible reversal on the upside. You're going to be checking economic news and different earnings reports to see if we might get an up move in the VIX. For economic news on the 8th, nothing really that useful. On the 9th, same old, not much. We have our PPI on Wednesday the 10th, and you also have your crude oil. We do look at oil trades here in the inner circle plan. You look at the 12th. We have preliminary inflation expectations and consumer sentiment. The inflation expectations is something to look at just because we are going to have an FOMC meeting very soon in September, and we might get an interest rate reduction there. So they're going to have that preliminary might possibly change the outlook. I'm thinking it's pretty likely we're going to see an interest rate cut in September. For earnings, we do have Oracle, relatively bigger company. For small caps, we have GME. Chewy, another smallest cap, and Adobe. Oracle and Adobe are probably the two I would just keep an eye on to see if it has dramatic earnings gains or losses. It might move the market. However, it won't be as much as like AVGO, NVIDIA, some of the larger tech plays. So again, this is Lance from ThetaTraders.com. If you found this video helpful, click like, subscribe, leave any comments below, and I'll address it. And I'll see you guys on the next video.